Ladies and gentlemen, we're a pleasure today to be in Oklahoma at a very historic place, and that's the home of Sequoyah. Sequoyah was the leader of the Cherokee Nation, and Jerry Dobbs is going to talk to us about his development of a written language for the Cherokee. So Jerry, just start with that background and tell the process that Sequoyah went through to develop the written alphabet for, and I guess you call it symbology?
A syllabary.
Syllabary, well I was close.
Yeah.
Got the syllabary for that language.
Okay. Well, Sequoyah's claim to fame as being the only person in history ever be able to come up with a way of writing for a people by himself. And he didn't know how to read or write. Some say he didn't even speak English, but he came up with a way of writing for the Cherokee that made it very simple for them to learn to read and write. Actually, most Cherokees who speak the language can learn to read and write in maybe a week or so. They don't have to go to school or anything. But Sequoyah only worked on this for about 12 years, which is really not very long at all to come up with a way of writing. But the first 10 years or so of his project he threw away because he was making symbols for whole words, which is really just picture writing. Of course, after 10 years he had the same problem the Chinese did. He had so many that people couldn't remember them. But what he found though was the same sound would come up in different words, so he decided he'd make this symbol for the sound. And he found 86 sounds that would pretty well cover their whole language and just made a symbol for it. So that's why they correctly call this a syllabary instead of an alphabet, because it's all phonetic. But the way this works though, the black letter is how you write the sound, the red letter is how you say the sound. So if you look at your top red letters, see your vowel sounds, except they have an extra one. But the way they pronounce theirs, this would be ah, a, e, then o, u, and then just a grunt, just a sound. So if this is ah, and you put a G in front of it, you get a ga, ka, ha, la, and so on. A, gay, hey, lay, e, ye, he, li, o, go, ho, lo, u, gu, hulu, then gun, lung sound. Now the only rule they have, when you see the TS, just say J. So you have a ja, J, G, jo, ju, jo. And that's all they have to remember.
Well, that is excellent. Now, when we look at this, and we've got a whole bunch of real eager students to learn things like how would you say the word bear in Cherokee. I bet you could tell us to that and explain how the syllables come together to make that word.
Okay. Well, bear would be, I'm having to look at my cheat sheets here. So, let me get my glasses on. Hona would be bear. We got ho. Here's your o. Look for your ho. Or yo. Yo. And then na right here. You'd write it with this symbol and this symbol. Be yo na. Yo na would be bear.
Well, give us another example. How about if you saw a snake going across the field out there? What would you holler out?
Now my pronunciation is probably a little different, probably a native speaker.
That's okay. I understand that there's several different ways that
There
each of
is.
these words can be said and
There
still be
is.
correct.
That's true. Now, the way we have it here, the most that agree you would say would be the inada. Inada. So you look for, let me get my glasses here. Inada. So E, this is your E, make that symbol for E. Na. Oops. Na. Na, then da. Oops. Inada. Inada. It's got E, na. Oops. Da.
Inada.
Inada.
Mhm.
So these three symbols, E, na, da, inada.
And when you write that, you combine all those things together.
Yes, you use these three symbols right here.
Okay. Well, we'll show that on a separate video of what the actual symbols are. But that is fascinating, and so you just go through and construct the entire vocalized language with that technique.
It's really just pure phonics is all this is. For
Okay.
instance, every time they see this symbol, it's saw. It never changes.
Okay.
So, and then like our English alphabet, which has a lot of rules, and there's virtually really no rules on this except the TS is a J. So that's all you have to
So
do.
if a person doesn't spell very well, it's very easy to spell in this language because spelling never changes.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
right.
That'd be perfect for me. I think I'm gonna start speaking and learning Cherokee. So everything I write doesn't have to be misspelled. Would that work?
Yes, well, good.
Now, Jerry, at the close of your excellent presentation, I want to say thank you, but I want it to be in the most respectful Cherokee manner. So prompt me a little bit in saying thank you in Cherokee.
It's very simple. Just have two syllables. You got wa, do, wado,
Wado,
wado.
wado, Jerry.
Well, there you go. Wa, oops, got wa. Makes that simple for wa, and here's your O for do. So wa and do. Wado.
Well,
Thank you.
that's excellent. And then the other thing, which again, we use the phrase in the most respectful Cherokee, we're going to be departing back to Arkansas. So I want to say goodbye, Jerry. And you can probably translate that into Cherokee for me.
Yeah, actually, literally what you'd be saying would be, till we meet again. There's really not a word for goodbye in Cherokee.
Oh,
Goodbye
okay.
would be do nada go honey, would be goodbye, or till we meet again.
Till we meet again. Okay, well, wonderful. Those will be things that will be passed on to all of our school kids in our program that we're putting together. And hopefully, you'll be able to see all that too, because it'll be an educational online program.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Be great.
Good. Jerry, when the growth of the language encounters something new, and a good example to me would be the word syllabary. Is that the right word?
Yes.
Okay. I'm sure that's not a word that was used when the language was being worked through by Sequoia. So how do you add something new into the language? Can you go through that for us?
Really, it has to kind of be sanctioned by the Cherokee Nation. They actually have people today that are native speakers that go out and teach in Cherokee, which is trying to get everybody more or less on the same page so things are pronounced the same. But they have to come up with words occasionally, and one word that they had to come up with is the word syllabary or alphabet, because there was no word for that. So the Cherokee word for the alphabet or syllabary is agaya. So it would be a, ga, ya. Agaya, agaya, ga, ya, agaya.
And that now is a part of your, what would you call it, vocabulary?
Yes.
And well, and then what happens when you get new modern words, I call them modern day words, that are more technical because of the great transition to the internet and things like that? How do you handle that in a language like this?
Most of the Cherokee words are descriptive, you could say. So if you don't have any reference to describe it with, you would just use an English word. For instance, like computer would be computer. You would just say the English equivalent to it.
But then when you write it down, what kind of phonetic representation do you use?
That'd be a good question. They would probably put it in English, I would
Just
think.
write it down in English and
Yeah.
let the speaker
Yeah.
decide to.
Yeah, there's a lot of sounds in English that are not in Cherokee, so you really couldn't, you would probably confuse someone if you tried to write it in. You would just be making it up, probably.
Now, if I'm real good, I can say thank you again. It's something new. D-O is the last part of the last syllable. Thank you.
Can you read? We got, remember we were looking at
Wa.
this? Wa.
Wado,
Do.
wado,
Do.
wado, Jerry.
And hoa would be, you're welcome.
Thank you again. Let me say to all of our students watching this that Cherokee language is one that you can speak and other people can understand very quickly. And we've been here with Jerry for a little bit, and I want to say so very much, what Jerry.
Or what? Which is, you're welcome.